I've been away, haven't changed, had much to say. But man, I still think
if you're feeding a person a crap sandwich with a smile, it's still a crap sandwich.
Truer words have never been spoken there, Colonel West. Thank you for that. We do appreciate you, sir. Loved it when I had him on the show that time. Great guest. We're going to have to try to get him on here again. Looking forward to it. What do you think? Did you remember the story we reported last week about the Justice Department and the fact that the president finally gets Jeff Sessions in office, and lo and behold, there are all these stories filtering out, things being leaked. And then they separately announced that they're going to replace all of these democratically appointed U.S. attorneys from the past 7 or 8 years. And you'd think that they had committed treason. It's unbelievable. James Hurston joining us right now. James, how are you, my friend?
How are you, Mark? Good to be with you.
I'm doing great. Let me tell people about your website, jameshurston.com. You can go on and check out more about the articles that James has posted up there. Most recently, one about Jeff Sessions and the Justice Department starting the job of draining the swamp in that particular agency.
Yeah, what was amazing about this, and this was when basically it was announced, there were 46 remaining U.S. attorneys left over. These are Obama administration-appointed attorneys that they were asked for their resignation. And the thing that's fascinating is the way the media covered it, and, of course, the way the Democrats reacted to it. Both the media and the Democratic Party treat President Trump as if he is illegitimate, and it's reflected in their headline writing. And it just seems like every day we see distorted headlines. Well, that's what this was. CNN, of course, being sort of the fake news factory, basically had a headline that said, "Anger mounts over the handling of U.S. attorney firings." And the New York Times said Trump abruptly orders 46 Obama-era prosecutors to resign. And there were lots of others. BuzzFeed was in there with talking about Sessions ousting the attorneys. And then there was this reporting that very kind of snarkily said that the timing was suspect because it came after Sean Hannity on Fox on cable, as the New York Times said, who often speaks with Mr. Trump, called for a purge of Obama appointees. By the way, Sean aptly did so, but lots of other people all over the social media, and I'm sure people within the Trump administration have been calling on him to purge. The usual Democrat spokespeople, my senator in California, Dianne Feinstein, 85-year-old Dianne Feinstein, a walking case for term limits, was surprised and concerned. Charles Schumer was troubled. Elizabeth Warren tweeted, "You can't fire the rule of law," and Elijah Cummings said there was a cover-up. And so they always go to the outer rims. But the fact is, behind this is not only is this routine, it was the same type of thing was done by Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and lots of other presidents. And in the modern era, it's just a normal occurrence. Now, they didn't give any notice, and they told them on Friday, basically clean your desk out, by midnight. And almost most of them, like there's about 93 U.S. attorneys, about half of them had already resigned because they knew if the opposing party's president gets into office, this is likely to happen.
Right.
But there was a more imperative, compelling reason for Trump to do this. And they say, well, why did he wait so long? Well, when the Democrats dragged their feet and tried to destroy Senator Sessions as a human being by accusing him of racism, obviously he had to wait until he had his attorney general firmly in office before he could send out the letter and asking for the resignation. And so they did that right away, almost right away after Sessions was in. But the compelling reason is because the Justice Department, according to reports, spied on the Trump campaign, key members of his campaign, and tried to spy on the candidate. Clearly, there was some spying taking place of General Michael Flynn, we know. And so, in all of this, is talked about in the news recently, the press, including some people at Fox News, want to say, well, this story's over because a couple of members of Congress said, we don't have any evidence that Obama ordered a wiretap of Trump Tower. Well, that statement, President Trump said he put wiretap in quotes because he meant a broader statement.
Surveillance of some sort, right?
Surveillance.
Yeah.
And when you say Obama ordered, the president never literally issues that order. As a matter of fact, if it's a FISA warrant, the order comes from a judge. If it's an order to go after a FISA warrant, that would come from the head of the CIA or the head of the FBI or possibly the Attorney General, and that would be normal. According to reports, these FISA warrants were sought by the Justice Department, and the Justice Department hasn't responded to these congressional committees yet. The only people that have responded is the intelligence departments. And so for them to make statements that there's no evidence is premature and utterly playing into the hands of the Democrats, which Republicans are very adept at doing. And so it's just an unfortunate thing and I believe President Trump, he recently said in an interview, one with Tucker Carlson, he said, you're going to be seeing some new documents in the next couple of weeks.
Sure.
I can't tell you what they are yet. No, he's teasing it. And I have a feeling these documents are going to be more dramatic even than Rachel Maddow's exposing of the actors.
Well, I think there are some nervous people out there. I mean, right down the line, while I think maybe he overstated it, he probably should have just left it more broad and said the Obama administration, instead of calling the former president out specifically. Ari Fleischer pointed out this morning on Outnumbered that, he kind of hid the little nugget of information that he had in there. It kind of got overshadowed because he mentioned President Obama by name. But if he didn't know something, I have a hard time believing he'd be basically saying, well, just wait because you're going to see yourselves.
The fact is that, there's always this plausible deniability, this buffer zone placed around the president. But there's nothing that Eric Holder or Loretta Lynch or any of these Obama cabinet members do without his knowledge and without him being complicit. And, and so everybody knows that. And look, it wasn't anyone else that expanded Executive Order, the Executive Order 12333 that allowed essentially the leaking to occur by having classified material shared with so many more agencies. That was Obama. His signature's on that document.
Right.
It's public record. And there, because of the bureaucracy and the way people work, if there's a real investigation, there may well be some texts or emails or something that show his knowledge and that he was complicit. But the fact is, there was surveillance. There's so many reports of surveillance. Now, all of a sudden, you have anchors saying definitively that there were no FISA warrants. When we have reporters who are reputable, who are saying they have sources indicating that, yes, indeed, there were FISA warrants sought, and there was a particular server that was registered to Trump Tower. That's another parsing of words. Was the server located in Trump Tower? That's questionable. But it was registered to Trump Tower, and that there were digital communications with a Russian bank that they were trying to check on. But now there's a new story emerging.
James, I'm about to run up against a hard break here. Great reporting. Let me direct people to jamesherson.com. You can read more on James' reporting on this and what else these investigations might turn up. Listen, I really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on again. James Herson there. You can go to jamesherson.com to find out more about what he's writing. All right, up next, we'll talk to Jonathan Serrie from the Fox News Channel on the state of Tennessee fighting back against this refugee resettlement program. It's all coming up right here on The Marc Cox Show.
This hour of The Marc Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness, NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
Remodeling a kitchen can be overwhelming. There's coming up with the right design, then choosing the right cabinets and countertops, finding an installer that will make our kitchen perfect, and staying within our budget. I found my new kitchen at Have a Nice Kitchen in Fenton. I wanted a design expert that would work with me one-on-one and walk me through the project every step of the way. Personal consulting and a great selection of quality cabinets and countertops. Have a Nice Kitchen in Old Town Fenton.
Families choose Parc Provence for quality assisted living with memory care. Your loved one will feel at home, enjoying a comfortable lifestyle while thriving in our engaging community. Residents at Parc Provence are our first priority. We help you enjoy peace of mind and get the most out of life because every moment matters. Go to visitparc.com. That's visitparc.com or call Karen to schedule a tour, 314-549-1050.
Speaking of setting appointments, you need to go down and see my friend Dr. Michael White at Sunset Hills Dentist Office. Here's first thing that sets it apart is Dr. Michael White was in a larger practice and decided that he wanted somewhere where he was one-on-one with his patients in his own office, and he opened up Sunset Hills Dentistry, and it's the world of difference from other dentist office I've been in. Obviously, you go to the dentist, you're going to get your teeth checked, you're going to get your teeth cleaned, and then the dentist is going to tell you what, if any, more work they need to do. Down here, they go several extra steps at no extra charge to check out the health of your mouth, maybe the pH balance or the bacteria level in there, talking to you about sleep problems and doing oral cancer screenings. And, if you've got some fear of going to the dentist, they can practice some sedation dentistry if you need to do that. Go see Dr. Michael White. They'll give you your first consultation exam for just $1. So go to sunsethills.dentist.
Napa know-how.
Right now, Napa's offering free mechanics wear gloves by mail with the purchase of 5 quarts of Valvoline motor oil starting at $3.59 a quart. Well, you've got hands and a car. Coincidence? We think not. Free mechanics wear gloves by mail with the purchase of 5 or more quarts of Valvoline starting at $3.59 a quart. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 3/31/17.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1 million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Brought to you by the National Highway.
KFTK FM, Florissant. KFTK AM East St. Louis. K254CR St. Louis.
The Marc Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Marc Cox Show.
Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk 97.1.
News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Just ahead of a joint news conference with the German Chancellor, President Trump holding a meeting with German business leaders on vocational training.
And I'm glad that the leaders of so many companies represented today have recently launched successful programs right here in the United States. And we need that because we're training people as the jobs are pouring back in, and they are coming back in big league.
The White House says he discussed a variety of issues, including trade, NATO, and fighting ISIS in his Oval Office meeting with Chancellor Angela Merkel. They've been critical of each other's views on immigration and refugees. The president announcing earlier that some minds have changed on the House GOP bill to replace Obamacare. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, President Trump says nays became yays at his meeting of staunch conservatives as he made a deal on block funding for states and work requirements for able-bodied Medicaid recipients.
Now, every single one is a yes.
Republican Study Committee Chair Mark Walker is pleased with the changes.
It returns power to the state to be able to make the best decision for the sick, for the indigent.
The full House could pass the repeal and replace plan as soon as Thursday, and then it faces a fight in the Senate. Republican Senator Rand Paul has said the bill is too much like Obamacare. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. Fox News has learned the man accused of jumping a White House fence last Friday night may have been on the grounds for 15 minutes before he was detected, perhaps even jiggling the door to the White House. Jonathan Tran is charged with entering a restricted building and carrying a dangerous weapon, in this case, mace. One of the two hackers accused of breaching millions of Yahoo accounts, along with 2 Russian spies, says he's being used as a political scapegoat. A lawyer for Karim Baratov making the comment. The 22-year-old is a Canadian dual citizen, the only one of the 4 suspects who's in custody. The other 3 are in Russia. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Over 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring, and independent research shows that 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. By creating the easiest, most effective hiring experience, we help businesses find great new people every day. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Blue the dog here for propane. Making the rounds with my owner, the propane man, has allowed me to see a lot. I may just be a simple dog. I didn't attend the elite boarding kennels, and you'll never see me on Barking with the Stars. But I do know that propane is the smart fuel that lets millions of Americans live where they want and how they want. It's clean, reliable, and powers modern appliances from tankless water heaters to high-efficiency furnaces. Learn more at proudlypropane.com.
97.1 News Time 103. It's 56 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm Kelly Webb. Drivers coming into the city this weekend should plan for possible delays and detours and closures. Work on and around the westbound ramp of the Poplar Street Bridge will affect the 4455 interchange and nearby exits. A man charged with murdering a retired St. Louis firefighter is acquitted by a jury. Yesterday, 21-year-old Garrett Watts was acquitted in the 2015 fatal shooting of 68-year-old Joe Buddy Davidson. Prosecutors said Watts shot Davidson during a robbery attempt, but defense attorneys said he was exercising in a nearby basketball court when Davidson was shot. After much debate and a narrow margin in the Missouri House, a plan to allow for the expansion of charter schools moves forward. Charter schools are tuition-free public schools that operate under a private partnership with the school system. 97.1 News Time 103. It's 56 degrees.
It's spring, and the weather can't decide what it's doing. Make the decision now to call Scott Lee Heating for up to a $1,700 rebate on a new Lennox system. Scott Lee Heating can help keep your home comfortable now and year-round. Call 314-756-9444 today.
The moment I saw Antonio, I knew he could make it as a dancer. But he had no technique, no discipline. He was a clown in the classroom.
Mr. Parks kicked me out of class and wouldn't let me dance until all my grades were up.
I took a risk, and now he's a professional. He's danced all over the world.
It all started in high school with Mr. Parks.
Teachers like Mr. Parks make a difference, and so do you. Every ticket played gives back to education.
You should see him now. Amazing.
Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery.
Mark Cox here, inviting you to join me and Thomas Helbig for the Protecting Your Retirement educational event Tuesday, March 28th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 now to reserve your seats. It's a seating limited event, so you need to hurry. Here's Thomas with more.
The stock market's at an all-time high because of record low interest rates from the Fed have inflated a bubble in asset prices. The last time the price-to-earnings ratio were at these high levels, a major crash followed. Do you know how to protect yourself from the next market crash while generating more income when you need it? Do you know when you can afford to retire? If you are 59 or older, you don't want to miss the special event. You'll also receive a copy of the book I co-authored with Brian Tracy titled Uncommon. It's about common sense but uncommon knowledge. See you March 28th at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, and myself at the Frontenac Hilton Tuesday, March 28th at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 or visit retirementkey.com. That's 855-755-1555.
We're from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Honey, the magic is here.
We point at junk and it disappears, right?
Point at something.
Even if it's outside?
Anything.
That was fun.
I love this.
All you have to do is point.
The house feels so much bigger.
How do you do that?
It happens automatically when you press the magic numbers and letters.
The magic numbers and letters.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Are you a taxpayer deep in debt to the IRS? If so, then listen carefully to this special public announcement. Due to consumers facing difficulty in the ongoing U.S. economic downturn, the Internal Revenue Service is now accepting reduced settlements from individuals who owe back taxes. Participation in special initiatives by the IRS can reduce your payments by thousands of dollars. A special hotline has been established by National Tax Credit Group to enroll suffering citizens during this crisis. Call the Special Service Hotline to see if you qualify for this historic relief opportunity during the ongoing economic downturn. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone. 800-639-4402. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, you may now qualify for substantial relief. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlements, resulting in some tax debts being reduced by thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify for your reduction, call this new special service hotline now. 800-639-4402. 800-639-4402. That's 1-800-639-4402.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of the Mark Cox Show.
The Mark Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Mark Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is the Mark Cox Show.
The Short List, brought to you by
Before I take questions, I'm going to do something I don't ordinarily do, and I'm sure it's kind of new. I'm going to call on the New York Times because they're in trouble. Apparently, is there where's my New York Times guy? Matt Flagenheimer and Alan Rappaport. Okay, are in big trouble. I'll give you the first question, but you have to deliver this message to them. They printed this morning that I am the father of 17-year-old triplet girls. My 17-year-old daughter really wishes that we're happy, or really wishes that had happened, but my two 17-year-old sons are really upset. So if you could clarify that, that would be great, and I'll give you the first question if you've got one. So.
Mick Mulvaney having a little fun yesterday with the media. How about that? These Trump administration people have no trouble calling out the media when they errantly report something, huh? That's good. We are standing by live for the president and the German chancellor. They're supposed to come out and hold a joint news conference in a few minutes, and the people are starting to filter into the room there, the West Wing, where they. The East Room, I should say, where they hold these state news conferences. Steve Bannon and Kellyanne Conway are in there now, from what I can see on the coverage, which means that the president is getting ready to come out. We're going to roll on this. I suspect they'll make an opening statement, and then they're each going to take some questions. I'm hoping to get to some of that live when it happens, so stand by, because I'm sure the media is loaded for bear for the President's Day. We'll find out what he's got going on. Still ahead this hour, we're going to talk to Graham Renz from the Show Me Institute. He's got some updated information on funding issues with the St. Louis Zoo, because they're always keeping an eye on things like that. And Planned Parenthood is going on the offensive, as if they're not offensive enough, with a ad campaign to fight the defunding of them by the federal government. So we're going to get to Melanie Israel with that later this hour as well. Right now, let me get to my friend Jonathan Serrie with the Fox News Channel. Jonathan, how are you?
Doing well. Always a pleasure to be on your show, Mark.
It is great to have you on here, my friend. Jonathan and I worked together many years ago, more years than we'd like to admit, down at WYFF in South Carolina.
A century ago.
Far too long ago, and as you can see, one of us has risen to the top and the other one hasn't. Jonathan, you are reporting on the great state of Tennessee and their effort to fight resettlement of refugees. What's the deal down there?
Yeah, well, the federal refugee resettlement program is no stranger to legal challenges, but this is apparently the first time that a state has alleged that the program violates the U.S. Constitution. The state of Tennessee has filed a lawsuit claiming that the federal program, the refugee resettlement program, violates the 10th Amendment. That's the amendment that helps define the separation of powers held by the states and the federal government. And essentially, the plaintiffs are arguing that even though the federal government funds the program with federal dollars, that it's still becoming a burden on Tennessee taxpayers. The federal government has been paying Catholic charities to run the resettlement program in that state. But what the plaintiffs are arguing is that once the refugees cycle out of that program, many of them become reliant on public services, whether it's health care or education, and then the Tennessee taxpayers start having to foot the bill. They use the example of a student refugee going to a public school. If they don't speak English, they have to get English language learning classes. Well, those are paid in part by the state of Tennessee. At least that's the argument.
So I guess my question about this is, I could see the Obama administration really fighting the individual states over this, but I'm wondering now that the Trump administration has taken over, does it change the atmosphere in the courtroom for this challenge? Have they weighed in on it?
It totally changes the dynamic. Now, I put the question to the Thomas More Law Center, which is the socially conservative group that filed this lawsuit on behalf of the state. I asked them about the timing. Does it have to do with Trump? And they pointed out, no, that it was a year ago that the Tennessee state legislature approved this lawsuit. Now, neither the governor nor the state attorney general wanted to get involved with it, but they didn't stand in the way of a third party filing the lawsuit, which is happening right now. So this nonprofit group says that the timing is purely coincidental, but they do say that they approve largely of a lot of the rhetoric that they're hearing out of the Trump administration, that there needs to be more controls on refugees coming into this country. And so even though they're suing members of the current administration, which would include the Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the State Department, they regard this as a largely pro-Trump lawsuit, one that they expect that they'll probably get some support from administration officials.
Wow. Well, an interesting twist there. I guess I'm glad because Missouri's kind of fought that fight too. I don't know that they've gone to court over it, but they've had concerns as well about resettlement issues here. So we'll see where it goes, and if the 10th Amendment is actually a good argument. Does this eventually go to the Supreme Court, do you think?
I think that they're hoping that if they get any resistance, that it certainly goes there. But it's hard to say. There are some legal observers who say that this is a very novel approach that they're taking, and it's unlikely to hold water. There are others that are saying, hey, this has never been tried before. It's worth a try. Who knows how far it will go.
Very good. Hey, Jonathan, it's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
Anytime, Mark.
Good to see you. Talk to you soon. Thank you. That's Jonathan Serrie from the Fox News Channel reporting live down in Atlanta today on this lawsuit that's going on in the great state of Tennessee. I've got a University of Kentucky fan. Have I mentioned that? And, of course, one of our biggest rivalries is University of Tennessee because it's like right across the border there, and we give them a lot of grief over the years. I'm kind of hesitant to say this because they didn't make the tournament this year. So if there are any Tennessee Volunteer fans out there, I apologize for that. But what we used to always say is, the greatest thing about Tennessee, there are no prostitutes down there. Did you know that?
No.
They're all volunteers.
Arr.
I couldn't help myself. That's an oldie but a goodie.
Second show's at 11. Marc will be here all week. Check your waiters and waitresses.
I couldn't help myself. I had to resurrect that one.
That's kind of